Hi, I'm Andy and welcome to Evony-roo. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about sub-generals, who you should pick, where they're available, and who's more important and what we should look for. So I'll dive straight in and we'll have a look at a few different sub-generals. They can be found in the portraits, so you can look up what each general's worth and have an idea of who you want to target in the game. But I'll give you a few ideas today. Let's have a look. Okay, my favourite, I've got to say, is Andrew Jackson. I pick Andrew Jackson because he's widely available in the tavern. Seems to pop up there quite a lot, so he's easy to get and he's easy to do a little bit of ascension on. So he actually reduces enemy ranged troops attack by 20% and mounted troops HP by 20%. Now, in the game, you'll find that most people are going to attack you first with ranged troops. So you want to try and reduce the impact that their ranged march will have upon your castle when you're looking to start making a defence. So the generals you pick and put on your sub-cities, their reductions, they count in your defence. Anything that you find on a sub-general that's more a positive, they'll only work for the troops within that sub-city, if you understand what I mean. But the debuffs, they add to your overall debuff, which will give you a much better defence. And obviously it's important then to think about who's going to hit you, what they're going to hit you with, and then how can we look to reduce their impact. So Andrew Jackson's great choice because straight away enemy range troops attack is down by 20%. So obviously if you had 3 or 4 of him and they're all at 20%, it adds up. It adds up to your debuff. So he's well worth looking out for. He's widely available in the tavern, and I would suggest he's probably my favourite. When you come to look at red starring them, because he's so easy to get, you can look to pop a star on him. I've got to be honest, I don't waste too much blood on them at this stage of my game because it's more valuable elsewhere. But to pop that 1 star on, if the event's running, you've not got enough blood to do what you want, or you're waiting to earn some more fragments, then yeah, I would say try and 1 star some of them, because they obviously give you ground troop and mounted troop HP reduction too. And ground troops, it's harder to find debuffs for their HP, from my experience. So it's an added advantage to have put on. But if you someone who spends in the game, you can look through and see, or you could send them right up and you can reduce the attack again by 20% when he's 5-starred. So you can look at the different generals, look at what you could gain from them and see where you think you're best for your keep, what kind of defence you want to make. So, but that gives you the starting point. I would always suggest trying to pick up an Andrew Jackson. If we pop back to Europe, a lot of these generals that you'll see and that pop up all the time, like Charles the Great, boost your gold production 75%. Sounds wonderful, absolute waste of time. We make our gold doing Vikings and Munster rallies. Realistically, the amount of gold he's going to produce for you, I wouldn't bother. I really wouldn't bother. So, who else could we pick? Well, Emerius is nice. I like him. He reduces the ground troops and mounted troops HP again, so that gives you a bit more on the ground troops. But he also ranged troops and siege machine attack by 15%. Nice general to have. If you can get one of him, he's always good to have on there. He's not available in the tavern. Oh, he is available in the tavern. Forget that. He is available in the tavern. So again, you can get him. You could look to 1-star him. It would help again with the ground troop buff. And obviously you can look through, see for yourself where would you like your debuffs to be, but he's definitely one to pick. If he comes along and you find him in the tavern, I would always suggest that you buy him. Nero, a lot of people pick Nero because he reduces HP by 15%, but it's all troops. So all with troops reduction. So if you can have one of him, great. And again, his ascensions is all troops. So it's all troop types. He's great. He comes along, he's in the tavern available. He also pops up in different events that you've got chances to win him. So I'd suggest everyone, he's definitely, if you're a free-to-play player, he's definitely one to look out for and keep an eye on, and maybe buy, even if you don't think right now you need him. I would. The other one, Baldwin, I like in here. He comes from events mainly. He's not available in the tavern, so you've got to pick him up in events. I'll cover later a few different events that run. If you're free to play player, you can actually do a bit in and you can have a chance to win him. But again, he's nice. He reduces a ranged troop attack, which is what we want to reduce, by 30%. Enemy siege attack as well by 20%. It's always nice to be able to reduce the siege, even though siege is something that's a bit more easier to find the debuffs for. But again, that ranged attack debuff is well worth having on. And again, he focuses on range throughout his ascension. So if you do spend in the game, or you're lucky enough to win multiples of him, and you do have that spare bit of bloodline around, it could be worth, adding a bit of investment into over time. So I would definitely say if you win him, you're happy. You're glad to have him within your crew. Last one on this page, I think, is Harold. Harold, again, he's available in the tavern. So I'm not sure if you can get him as well, or fragments of him from the relics. I think it's just the tavern that you can find him in. But again, he reduces enemy troops attack by 10% and reduces enemy troops HP by 10%. Attack and HP are more what I would want to be able to debuff over defence. So again, he's a decent general to have, and he's covering all troops. So again, he covers all kinds of attacks that are coming in at you, not just the ranged, all of them. So again, with his ascension, he does debuff all troops defence. As I say, it's not great, but as you come to the top end, he does add an extra buff to the attack and HP. So definitely worth picking him up. He is available in the tavern, so he's a general you could look to ascend and to Red Star in the future if you wanted to. I haven't mentioned about specialities, but what I would say is just to quickly show you, with the specials on these generals, most of them are pretty much non-applicable because they're adding. We don't need the adding because it's just not. It only works for the troops within that sub-city. So these are just a bit pointless in wasting, your precious stones to do the specialities. But the second one always seems to have a debuff. So again, if you're going to do any specialities at all, just do that second one on them all, and you'll find it will add an extra debuff. That will work across the board on your defence, and it will apply to all your troops. So I would suggest, if you can, look to do that. But that's the only way I would spend on any kind of specials for these generals. There are some other generals I will mention that you'll find about quite a lot, and they offer. This one reduces enemy troops defence, you see, and defence, I'd pick attack over an HP, but if you're a free to play player and you've picked up this general along the way, I'd definitely maybe you look to use her for the time being until a better comes along, because at least she does have that one reduction. But I would really prefer to see the reductions to be not defence and more attack or HP, in my experience. Another general I do use in a subs is a Barbarian King. Again, I like him because he's focused on range troop attack debuff. So I've managed to win him in an event because he's not available in the tavern. So you've got to, be lucky enough that you're winning him in one of the general chests you may win along the way. I was lucky enough to get him. I've only got one copy of him, but it's nice to have that extra buff in place. There's plenty of other generals that you'll see, but I've got to be honest, unless you're someone who coins and can win some of the better generals, what I'm suggesting to you and what I'm looking at are what's freely available and ready to be able to pinch from the tavern, or in some events. There are some events that you will actually got the chance to win these generals for the subs. It'll be the Alliance competition. If you manage to complete all the tasks in that, at the end of it, it will give you a chest. You've got a chance there to win one of these generals. And the Dawn of Civilization event that comes round, I think for a small fee you can unlock a section and win a token there. And again, that gives you a chance to win generals. But I would tend to try and stick to generals you can find in the tavern, because if you ever do want to do those ascensions, then the Blood of Ares is so expensive within the game as a resource. I would suggest that obviously look for the cheaper options of where you can use it until you're at a stage where you've got all your attack generals, all your defence generals, all fully ascended. Then obviously if you're left in the game with blood to spare, sub generals and duty generals is where I'd then look to spend it. Now this video, to make it not a long one, is going to be a bit of a two-parter. In the next part we'll discuss more what gear and how you should set up your sub-cities. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe to my videos, help grow the content. Thanks a lot. Bye.